Alright, it's your man Brett from the Skateboarding Show here with another piece to camera to talk to you about the complexity of skateboarding. The complexity of skateboarding. And thank you to everyone who watched my previous video about high ability skateboarders, and is there any that have shunned the sponsored world right from the very beginning. Some people put forth some names, but they have been sponsored before and then have walked away from it. Get that. Some people put forward some other names that I don't know, so thank you. And some people either didn't quite seem to understand what I was saying or didn't agree with it, and that's fine, and that's also great, because I want to make it really, really clear that these long form videos that I make probably explain what I'm talking about a little bit more than the 1 minute videos I put up on either Shorts or Instagram or Reels, whatever. So please do take the time to go and watch the long form videos because they make a little bit more sense. What I want to also make clear is that I don't agree or disagree with anything even I'm saying. All I'm trying to do is highlight something about our amazing, wonderful culture and about our rubbish and appalling culture that we have. That's my point. My point is there's always two sides to an opinion, a thought, an idea, a proposition. There's always two sides to it, even if, or maybe even three sides. Yes, no, it doesn't matter, right? And I totally get those. I totally get that. Yes, the proposition is right. No, the proposition is wrong. It doesn't matter. And I try to observe all three of those. And maybe I don't do a very good job of doing that in the videos, and maybe I need to try a bit harder to make sure that I'm giving you the counterpoint of view. And I'm certainly going to give you the counterpoint of view to my previous video in this video, right? There's no way that I'm anti-pro or anti-sponsor skateboarders or anti-brands. I love all three of those things. And at the same time, I also just thought it was an interesting question with everyone going on about how much skateboard, we just skate for the love of it. We just love skateboarding and do it for the love of it. Where are the people who are really doing that and manifesting it then by saying, I do it for fun and I do it for the love of it so much that I don't want anything to do with endorsing a brand, thank you. Like, it's fine. And I get that if you're at a high level, why not get paid for doing it? Because there's so much talk about doing it for the love of it. So where's anybody actually manifesting that? I don't entirely know. I don't know. And of course I get the idea that if you don't buy brands, there'll be no skateboarding industry. But I also get the idea that you could easily start a brand that just produces blank, unbranded product. You could do. It's quite simple. Right, so, and besides, we all know that if you really look into it, it's not the sponsored and pro skateboarders that are financially propping up the skateboarding industry. It's all the beginners that are buying boards and the middle tier of ability level people. But anyway, that does bring up the idea that, as per usual, I'm trying to get the idea that skateboarding is complex. Skateboarding is yes, no, it doesn't matter. All right? Right, wrong, nobody cares. All right? Those are the three usual viewpoints of any proposition put forward to do with the culture of skateboarding, including the idea of sounding, or of being dumb but smart sounding. That's the oxymoron if I ever heard it, which is brilliant. Put forward by somebody who didn't have an opposing proposition to put forward, but that's their business. Skateboarding is complex. Skateboarding is complex, right? It is. It is simply complex. There's another oxymoron for you. So, with that in mind, let's talk about how amazing brands are. Brands are brilliant. Of course, brands are brilliant. I'm very grateful. Looking back on my teenage years, it was a long, long time ago, so I'm going right back to the sort of early mid-90s. I was very grateful, or I appreciate that I should be grateful, and maybe I was at the time, but didn't realize it. I am very grateful that I had the opportunity to wear skate brands because it helped in my identity. It helped to communicate my identity out to the world, because whether we like it or not, as I've said before, each tribe has their uniform. And as a subculture of general society, skateboarding definitely has some uniforms. Nowadays, there are subcultures within the subculture of skateboarding, and they have their own individual uniforms as well. And that's fine. And it's okay, and it's not okay, and it doesn't matter. Right? Subcultures within the culture of skateboarding have their own uniform, and which can be expressed through the brands that you wear, and that's okay, and it's not okay, and it doesn't matter. And just skate for fun, just skate because it's complex, it doesn't matter. All those things are true. It is possible to have two opposing points of view and them both be true, and you don't have to be in conflict about those. Skateboarding's full of contradictions where they are both true. It is true that each tribe has its uniform. It is also true that each individual person is an individual that comes up with their own thinking, which it is true. But there's a lot of tribal brands. There just are. There's just a lot of brands. Brands help to communicate an identity. Brands help to communicate an identity. That is both true and not true, and it doesn't matter. Right? I am simply putting forward ideas for you to contemplate. Right? I'm not telling you what the deal is. What I am doing is saying skateboarding is complex. It's not simple. It's not just a one-word answer to it. Right? Now, what does that have any meaning that brands communicate an identity? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because it certainly helped me as a teenager be able to tell the world I am a skateboarder. I'm a skateboarder and I'm proud of it and I love it. And I want to tell you all that I'm a skateboarder because that's the identity that I choose. I'm not compelled to do it. I don't have to do it. I choose to do it. I choose to tell the world. I could wear no brands and simply be out on a skateboard, and that would probably tell the world that I'm a skateboarder. But I do choose to wear branded stuff, which either to longer term skateboarders, they can identify really easily, or to other people who may or may not be in the skateboarding world, they might be able to identify. Other people may not be able to identify. It may not mean anything to anybody outside the world of skateboarding. TR7 and decimal may not mean anything to people outside of the world of skateboarding, and that's fine. It's okay, it's not okay, it doesn't matter. All right? Never forget, those are the three angles with which I agree with those three angles. Yes, no, it doesn't matter. Of course. But I'm here to think about it. I perceive skateboarding as something that needs thinking about. I have to make a decision what I'm doing on my board with an environment. I have to think about it. Skateboarding can be thought about. It could also not be thought about. It can, it can't, it doesn't matter. I totally get that. Brands help to communicate identity. Identity helps us to have a sense of community. There's the angle. There's the meaning. By being able to identify as skateboarders, especially, I remember this especially when I was younger, it meant that I could identify other skateboarders in a crowd, from other people. Identity helps us to have a sense of community, and community helps us to come together and share our experience of skateboarding. And for me, certainly, I find, and this isn't the case for everyone, I get it, it may be the case, it may not be the case, it doesn't matter if it's the case. I find sharing skateboarding with my friends and with other people, and with people I don't even know in a skate park, helps to raise the skateboarding a little bit, helps to raise the energy a little bit, helps to give it a little bit more go, it helps to really cement it in there, really get it going. Maybe that might be a generation thing. I totally get that. I come from a sort of slightly older generation of skateboarders that were rowdy and loud at skate parks, and if they were there, you knew they were there. But that loud rowdiness was about support. It was about reinforcing that community feel. It was about saying, we don't care what your ability is, we just love to see that you're getting involved in skateboarding and getting amongst it. And that's part of the ethos of the community that I enjoy and love about skateboarding. Nobody really cares about ability. People care about whether or not you're getting amongst it and getting involved. And that, and therefore, actually, you can communicate that with the brands that you wear. You can show that you're getting involved. You can show that you believe in skateboarding. You can show that you're involved in skateboarding. You can show that you are part of that community. Brands are brilliant. Being a pro is brilliant. Endorsing a brand because you're professional is brilliant. Putting time and effort into something and then saying, actually, it's all right for me to be reimbursed for that time and effort that I've put in is brilliant. And it's not, and it doesn't matter. Crikey. And at the same time, why should I like acquiesce to all these people? Like, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, hit the unfollow button. It's really fine. It's really, really fine. There would appear to be some people that are interested in what I'm saying. Thank you. There would appear to be some people that are not interested. You are welcome to unfollow. My God, if I thought I was doing this to really try and monetize this, then I'd be overly producing the videos and trying to do them perfectly. I'd just ghetto set up with just like my phone and a recorder to put this out audibly. You know, I'm doing this to try and give back to skateboarding in some way, because you should give back to skateboarding. You shouldn't give back to skateboarding. It doesn't matter. Jesus, that's going to get really tiring after a while. Make up your own mind whether you should give back to skateboarding. Make up your own mind whether or not skateboarding is fun should mean that somewhere in the world there should exist a sort of a community of skateboarders who are really, really good but have shunned the industry and said, no. You know the bit where we say skateboarding's fun? We do it for fun. We don't care about endorsing a brand. And at the same time, that's just a thought. That's just a thought. I love brands. I think brands are brilliant. Brands help me to communicate to the world I'm a skateboarder. I belong to the tribe skateboarder. I belong to the community of skateboarder, and I can see other skateboarders from the brands that they wear, and I can tell, and I'm not going to go into it now because I know everyone's going to have their own different interpretation. I can tell that each different brand communicates a different identity. And of course, probably having a skateboard is probably enough to communicate the idea that you're part of the community of skateboarder. But like I say, the subcultures within the culture of skateboarding now, there didn't used to be. There used to, well, there did, but there was a lot less of them. There's more subcultures within the skateboarding community nowadays, and each one of those brands expresses and communicates an identification with that subculture. Brilliant. How amazing is that? How brilliant is that? How brilliant is that through the things you wear and through the kit that you use, you can self-express. You can express an identity that you've chosen and that you want to express and enhance and endorse and be part of and feel part of and be part of. What a wonderful thing to have a community that allows you to self-identify as part of that community. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And this may not be the most intellectually challenging piece I've ever done. Maybe things don't have to be. Maybe it's just an opportunity to talk about skateboarding, because skateboarding is bloody brilliant. Skateboarding is bloody brilliant. It's as simple as that. So, thank you. Don't spend any more time watching this because I'm just closing off it anyway. Do grab your skateboard and go and get involved in it. Go and tell the world what part of what identity you have and how you express that. If you don't like what I'm saying here, brilliant. Please do leave a comment, because Instagram loves the comments and it just keeps pushing me out in front of more people. If you do like what I'm saying, then feel free to say something. If you're not bothered by what I'm saying, then great. There is an unfollow button for those of you that don't like what I'm saying. And there is a subscribe button for those of you that do like what I'm saying. And you all have free will. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, that is going to get really boring really quickly, isn't it? Right, thank you very much. See you all later. Bye.